Alright, good morning everybody. It's your boy Akeen and welcome to today's vlog. I'm here to give you some quick fantasy tips for this week, week 11 of the 2014 NFL fantasy season. And I'm going to start things off with the quarterbacks that you should bench and start for this week. Talking about mainly the quarterbacks that are in question. Starting with quarterback Colin Kaepernick of the San Francisco 49ers. They're playing against the New York Giants. Now over the course of the last 3 games, Kaepernick has had either 15 points or lower. But I think he's going to be in a good, favorable matchup at the New York Giants Stadium. I think this is going to be a good, profitable game for you guys. Let's go right ahead and start Colin Kaepernick. Same for Jay Cutler of the Chicago Bears. Now, he had a terrible game last week at Green Bay, and I apologize for that. I thought he was going to finally be due for a good game at Lambeau Field. The Green Bay Packers just crushed the Chicago Bears, but I think he's going to bounce back against the Minnesota Vikings. Now, in the last 4 road tests for the Vikings, they actually have allowed 8 touchdown passes, which is great news because Chicago is at home. Now, quarterbacks that you should sit this week, I'm going to start things off with Philip Rivers of the San Diego Chargers. This week, they're going to be playing against the Oakland Raiders, and I'm going to use the Jay Cutler syndrome for this week for Philip Rivers because throughout his career against the Raiders, Philip Rivers has not been doing well as far as fantasy points-wise. He's actually averaged fewer than 12 points per game against the Raiders, and because of that, you should definitely bench him this week. Same for Andy Dalton of the Cincinnati Bengals. Now he had minus 3 points last week at home against the Cleveland Browns, and because of that, I have to bench him this week. And he's possibly I'm even considering you guys having him dropped from your teams because of that poor performance. But I'm not going to give that suggestion. Keep him on your team. But for this week against that Saints defense, I think he's going to have a hard time, especially with the game being at New Orleans. Now, a couple of players that you could probably use at quarterback to replace these 2 players. Matt Stafford of the Detroit Lions. They're playing against the Arizona Cardinals. Now, in 2 of their last 3 games at home for Arizona's defense, they have actually allowed 350 passing yards per game for those 2 games. And one of those games was against the Washington Redskins and Kirk Cousins. And Matthew Stafford has been proven that he's a much better quarterback than Kirk Cousins. I think that he could give you some decent, valuable points this week. And Big BenRoethlisberger of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Last week he had 22 points. The previous week 54, and then the previous week after that the whopping 62 points. This week they're playing against the Tennessee Titans defense, who has been doing good against quarterbacks and fantasy play. But I still think that Ben Roethlisberger can give you at least 20 points against that Titans defense. So those are a couple players that you could probably use this week that were in question. But go right ahead and start Stafford and Big Ben Roethlisberger. Now I'm gonna catch you guys in just a second. The next blog I need to talk about is the top running backs to use this week in fantasy play. Thank you for watching this vlog from the Football Source. I'm your man, Keenan McCall. Be easy.